June 3rd, 2021, a black man, Winston Smith, was ambushed at the top of a parking lot here in Minneapolis, and he was shot and killed by deputized U.S. Marshals. Some of those law enforcement officers were from Ramsey County Sheriff's Department, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department, and other police departments comprising that squad of people that went and hunted down Winston Smith. Just recently, from today, which is October 12th, 2021, Crow Wing County Attorney General Don Ryan and Mike Freeman, Hennepin County Attorney General, announced that they're not going to press charges against the officers that shot and killed Winston Smith, murdered Winston Smith, assassinated Winston Smith, are responsible for the death of Winston Smith, however you want to phrase it. And what Don Ryan said, and this is what we'll delve into a little bit, and if you don't know who Mike Freeman is and why I roll my eyes at that, the reason why I do that is because Mike Freeman, he's supposed to prosecute killer cops, and he does basically not that, and he just defends them. He did not prosecute the killers of Jamar Clark. I believe it might have been Klobuchar that was in at the time, during Terrence Franklin. But Mike Freeman just has a long record of defending cops and essentially just not holding them accountable. And Don Ryan said some interesting things. He said something along the lines of, and the point of contention is, what the cops are saying is that Winston Smith had a gun and he pulled out a gun, and then we had no choice but to shoot him. And the witness in the car with Winston Smith said that he was reaching for his phone and that he didn't have a gun, that they did not see a gun on him. And so what Don Ryan has said is that he said, though I am unable to determine who fired first, it is irrelevant in this case, Ryan wrote. Once an individual initiates a deadly force confrontation, a law enforcement officer does not have to wait to be shot at before reacting. And this language that Don Ryan uses is, it's presumptuous and imaginative to say that Winston Smith had a gun and pointed it at law enforcement officials. There's no body cam footage. There is only the eyewitness reports of the law enforcement officers. The person in the car says that there was no gun. It's also an indictment of Winston Smith as a black man. And it's saying guilty before anything. Guilty before or deserving of death before even being proven guilty. And it furthers it builds upon an institution of racism that carries the notion that just black skin alone is threat enough. That black skin by itself is a death threat to a white institution. And so you have no press conference or anything said from Mona Doman, who is the head of the U.S. Marshals in Minnesota. There's no press conference held by really anybody regarding it. And so we're left in silence up until now. And then they say that they're not going to press any charges. And the other thing that I want people to look out for, or at least pay attention to, is what Mike Freeman uses in his statement, and it's the word justified. Justified doesn't only, it not only says, hey, they were protecting themselves, they were justified in taking this person's life. There was no other way to handle this scenario, which to me is a lie. I don't believe that was the only way. I don't believe that the best approach was to swarm Winston Smith with, almost a dozen unmarked squad cars and then have plainclothes police officers, U.S. Marshals, pop out of those vans and then point guns at this young man. To say justified is to say that's the only way it could have happened. And that is not the only way it could have happened. It could have happened with body cams. It could have happened with, approaching him outside of a car. It could have happened possibly without firearms. It could have happened a litany of ways. And the interesting point of this is that when we're sold these exonerations of the police officers that are killer cops and are killing community members, and predominantly black community members, is that they're attempting to sell us on the language that it was justified. And so here we are yet again with another community member, a black community member, that has not only been killed and stolen by police brutality and police violence, but yet again they're attempting to sell us on the lie that this was justified. And I don't believe it was. Not for a second.